March along, sing a song with the army of the free.
We're going to the National World War II Museum today. This is a huge museum here in New Orleans honoring service and sacrifice. There's a quote up there from Franklin Roosevelt. In the truest sense, freedom cannot be bestowed, it must be achieved. There are several different buildings connected by walkways or a courtyard that you can walk through. It's a very impressive area, very impressive museum. And over there is the actual museum entrance where you can go and buy tickets and then start your tour. It's rated the #2 museum in the United States. Admission for adults is $27, $6 more if you go to the Beyond All Boundaries or Final Mission shows. If you go to both shows, it's $39. And we were told for sure we should do the Beyond All Boundaries show. And in the ticketing area overhead, there's some planes and an artillery piece. There's a landing craft vehicle personnel that was used on a lot of beaches to land men during assaults. And looks like when you get your ticket, you come over here to get on the departing train, it says. Just like the GIs would get on a train when they were shipping out. Apparently that's what we're gonna do. If you get on the train, you're actually watching a movie. It looks like you're pulling away in a train car. Everybody's waving at you. Pretty cool, going through different towns. The exhibits begin on the 2nd floor, so we're gonna go up there. This exhibit is covering D-Day in Normandy. Giant artillery shell. It was one of the fake tanks we used to disguise what we were going to do on D-Day, where the invasion might be and where our forces were. This looks like an interactive exhibit.
In many ways, because the British people speak the English language as only they can, and when they do it, when you confront somebody from Texas or Brooklyn or somebody, it sounds almost supercilious.
Shows what a soldier would have with them. Plastic bag for their M1 rifle. Used that when they were crossing rivers. Some crashed glider. This is the D-Day Normandy invasion. All the ships, all the planes. This display memorializes the cost of victory that the United States and their allies suffered. This compares the number of servicemen that Japan, United States, and Germany had at the start of the war. We were not a military powerhouse. Japan had 850,000, 335,000 for us, and 3,180,000 for Germany.
Now, the United States stays
There's several movies you can watch along the way depicting different parts of the war. Lots of artifacts from the war.
the year before.
This tells the story of pilot Lieutenant Randall Keeter. He was at Clark Airfield in the Philippines when it was attacked, and he ran through gunfire to get in his plane and was able to chase 3 Japanese aircraft and shoot down 2.
2 waves of Japanese planes attacked. On the other side of the world, things look equally dire.
America responds. Some of the newspaper headlines during the war.
The country has asked the people to invest $1 billion in 1 month to help pay for war.
I want you. This shows ration books and stamps that restricted what people could get during the war to help the war effort.
Superman, eighth wonder of the modern world, visitor from a distant planet whose strength knows no limit.
Germany has not yet been driven to surrender. Germany has not yet been driven to the point where she will be unable to recommence world conquest a generation hence. Therefore, the victory still lies some distance ahead. That distance will be covered in due time. Have no fear of that. But it will be tough, and it will be costly.
This exhibit tells about the racial divides that existed during World War II in the United States. How black soldiers and white soldiers were still often separated and put in separate units. It's about the Japanese internment camps.
And all kinds of things.
From nothing, they built all these beautiful gardens, you know, between the barracks.
In a very short time, the whole community developed into a society that was livable.
This documents the soldiers' training and preparing to go to war. This exhibit is about the Manhattan Project, constructing the atomic bomb. This is the museum store, and the soda shop is down here too. You get things to drink, get some refreshments. There are no refreshments allowed in the theaters when you watch like the 4D movie, because the seats move and they're electric and all that, so you can't do that there. And they have a nice soda shop here, or you can get ice cream and breakfast sandwiches, hot drinks, soda, hamburgers and hot dogs. All right. A Victory Garden wrap. Of course, it's an all-American chili hot dog. They have a nice sized gift shop. There's patches, posters, and a whole library of books on the history of the war that you can buy. And you can even print collectible pennies and medallions and souvenir museum jackets and t-shirts. So really nice gift shop. Now we're going to go across the American Spirit Bridge and see the Beyond All Boundaries 4D movie experience, I guess you'd say.
Smell and sight and sound and
You might get wet,
feel it.
somebody said.
Yeah.
So they said it's really good. And it's 50 minutes long. They have shows on the hour. These exhibits tell about the war at sea. Contribution of the Navy to the war effort. And our show is in the Solomon Victory Theater, Beyond All Boundaries. So we just saw the show Beyond All Boundaries, and it was pretty powerful, pretty sad.
Yeah, really sad.
And it has some scenes of dead soldiers in it. I mean, it's pretty strong.
I probably wouldn't take
show.
a kid there. To
No.
that.
Strong visuals, and it's loud sometimes. And it booms and flashes, and it's just very hard to watch sometimes, but it's very real.
I think maybe some kids today's in their 20s and 30s just didn't even realize it happened.
Yeah, such a huge event on that scale involved the whole world, everybody. So,
Yeah.
but it's a good thing to go see.
And 6 million Jews died.
That part.
That blew me away again. that figure.
Yeah.
And then another 5 million non-Jewish civilians were killed.
Yeah. In the concentration camps. So it's just incredible.
Horrible time in our history, but we need to remember it so it doesn't happen again.
But it was a good experience, narrated by Tom Hanks. There's BB's Stage Door Canteen in here, a restaurant. This is really neat. Yeah, this is cool. Hall of Honor, well-known actors from years ago. And on certain Monday nights, they have a Bob Hope Happy Hour film series. I know Bob Hope did a lot of shows for the servicemen and women, and he made a lot of movies that made a lot of people and soldiers laugh and forget about some of their problems for a while. It's the American Sector Restaurant and Bar down this way. Oh, yeah.
Hollywood Canteen was something that was real. It says it opened its doors on October 3rd of 42 to 2,000 servicemen and spectators.
There's Betty Davis. She helped found the canteen with John Garfield. There's Marlene Dietrich. Jazz giants in the canteens. Top acts, including Count Basie, Benny Goodman, and Ethel Waters, entertained troops at the Hollywood Canteen, defying prevailing social norms. That's cool. The whole World War II museum is worth coming to and seeing, and worth the time and money.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, bye. And there's Franklin Roosevelt.